So now we will learn limbs, arms and legs. In my last video we have learned till ribcage. Now let's do limbs. The human body has two kinds of limbs, forelimbs and hind limbs. Forelimbs and hind limbs. Our arms are called forelimbs. So you can see our arms are called forelimbs. Each arm has two parts, the upper arm and the lower arm. So you can see the upper arm and the lower arm. The two parts of the forelimbs are joined together at the elbow. The upper arm is made up of single long bone and the lower arm is made up of two bones. You can see there are two bones. It is made up of two bones and the upper one arm is made up of one bone. Now hind limbs. Our legs are called hind limbs. You can see legs are called hind limbs. They also have two parts, the upper leg and the lower leg. You can see the upper leg and the lower leg. The two parts of the hind limbs are joined together at the knee. This is the knee. The upper leg is the thigh. The upper leg is the thigh. It has the longest bone in our body. So our longest bone in our body is the thighs bone, called the femur. This longest bone name is femur. The lower leg is made up of two bones. So the lower leg is made up of two bones. Same as the forelimbs. Forelimbs are hands and the upper is made up of one bone, lower two bones. So similarly of hind limbs. Now girdles. The two sets of ring-like bones that are attached to the limbs are called girdles. So the two sets of ring-like bones, the two sets of ring-like bones are attached to the limbs. That is called girdles. The upper arm is joined by the backbone. The upper arm is joined to the backbone by the shoulder girdles. Okay, the upper arm is joined by the backbone of the shoulder girdle. The shoulder girdle is made up of two bones, called the shoulder blade and the collarbone. The lower part of the backbone is joined to the femur in the leg by the hip girdle. So the upper arm is joined in the backbone by shoulder girdle and the shoulder is made up of two bones, shoulder blade and collarbone. Okay, these both bones are made by shoulder girdles. Okay, the lower part of the backbone is joined to the femur in the leg by the hip girdles. Okay. Now joints. The connecting parts of two or more bones in the skeleton is called joint. So the connecting parts in the skeleton are called joints. So you can see that they are connected. So this is called joints. A joint holds the bone together with the help of fiber-like bands called ligaments. So what are ligaments? A joint holds the bones. You can see the joint that holds the bones together in the fiber-like. It's called ligaments. Okay. Most bones are covered by tough elastic. Okay, called the cartilage. What are cartilage? The joints that are covered with a tough elastic substance is called cartilage. Okay, which helps to protect the bones from wear and tear. So it helps the bones from wear and tear. Oxygen such as nose and ears are mainly made up of cartilage. So this cartilage or the two organs are made up of cartilage. Okay, there are two types of joints: movable joints and immovable joints. Two types of joints. So first we will read movable joints. Joints that help in movement are called movable joints. For example, hand, it help the joints help them to move. The joints of the arms and legs are the example of movable joints. Okay, the joints that moves are called movable joints, and immovable joints. Joints that do not move are called immovable joints. So the joints that do not move are called immovable joints. The joint of the skull. So this is an example. The joint of the skull and the joint between the rib cage and the chest bone are examples of immovable joints. Okay. There are many four types of movable joints. So there are four types of movable joint. Number 1, hinge. Number 2, ball and socket. Number 3, pivot. And number 4, grading joints. Okay, so this is the hinge joint over here. This is the ball and socket joint. This is the pivot joint, and this is the grading joint. Okay, first we will read the hinge joint. The joint that allows only to forward and backward movement is called a hinge joint. So you can see hinge joints help us to move forward and backward. Okay, you can move. So the hinge joints are available in, you can move your arms, fingers, elbows. You can see move our elbows, legs and knees only in one direction, forward and backward. Okay, so these are examples of hinge joints. The joints that prevent in these body parts are like the hinge door. So these all are like hinge door. They are the hinge joints. Some of the activities that you can do with the help of the hinge joints are. So now these three we will read. What are the activities we can do by hinge joints? Holding a pencil and writing. Holding a pencil. Say I have taken a pen and writing. Bending your arms and touching your head. Bending your knees. Okay, these are the activities that we can do with the help of the hinge joints. Now ball and socket joint. So you can see ball and socket. See, this is the ball and this is the socket. The type of joint that allows movement in almost all directions is called ball and socket joint. Ball and socket joint help us to move all directions. In this type of joint, the round ends of the one bone fits into a cup-shaped socket to another. You can see cup-shaped to another. This, our shoulder. We can move our shoulder in any direction. The joints of the shoulder and hip are ball and socket. So these both have ball and socket joints. The type of joint allows you to swing your arms into a ball. Yeah. So this helps to swing our arms through the ball. Okay. Now the third joint, pivot joint. The pivot joint is present where the skull meets the topmost vertebra. The pivot is present. The skull, where the skull meets the topmost vertebra, there is the pivot joint. See, over here is the pivot joints. It allows to move our head up, down and sideways. So it allows our head to do up, down, sideways. Okay. Now gliding joint. The gliding joint allows the bones to slide across each other. So the gliding joint allows the bones to do cross each other. Okay. It allows up, down, sideways and rotational movements of bones. This type of bones is found in the joint is found in the bones, the wrist, and it is found in the wrist and ankle bones. Okay. So in my next video we will learn more about skeletal system.